Story Outline: The Awakening of Thalsara. Part 1: The Forbidden's Touch, 1200 words. Main character: Jace Morrigan, a disillusioned archaeologist working on a remote excavation site. Supporting character: Nira, the awakened alien entity setting. Excavation site on the desert planet. Kesher key events: Jace, drunk and bitter about his failed career, touches an ancient alien statue during a dare from his colleagues. The statue awakens, revealing Nira, who forms an immediate psychic bond with him. Part 2: Echoes of the Past, 1200 words. Main character: Jace Morrigan, new character. Tomaz Yael, Jace's rival archaeologist who reports the incident. Key events: Nira shares fragments of her memories with Jace through their bond. They flee the excavation site together as military forces arrive. Jace learns about the ancient treaty and begins to develop feelings for Nira. Part 3: The Hunt Begins, 1200 words. Main characters: Jace and Nira, new character. Colonel Briggs Wade, military officer leading the pursuit. Key events: Jace and Nira navigate the desert canyons while being hunted. Their connection deepens as they depend on each other for survival. Nira reveals more about her species' return and the consequences of the broken seal. Part 4: Hearts, Across the Void, 1200 words. Main characters: Jace and Nira, new character. Sierra Quinn, Jace's former lover, who tries to convince him to surrender Nira key events. Emotional confrontation with Sierra. Jace must choose between his old life and protecting Nira. The alien fleet begins its descent. Jace and Nira confess their growing feelings for each other. Part 5: The Choice of Forever, 1200 words. Main characters: Jace and Nira, key events. They reach the ancient treaty site. Jace learns he must become the new seal to prevent war. Nira offers an alternative, a permanent bond between them that would serve as a living bridge between species. Jace accepts, transforming both their destinies and creating a new kind of peace. Part 1: The Forbidden's Touch. 3 moons of Kesher painted the desert in shades of silver and rust as Jace Morrigan stumbled through the excavation camp. A bottle of synthetic whiskey dangling from his fingers. The other archaeologists had already retreated to their climate-controlled tents, exhausted from another day of fruitless digging. But Jace remained outside, drinking away the remnants of what he'd once called a promising career. "You know what your problem is, Morrigan?" Tomaz Yael called from the entrance of the mess tent, his voice carrying across the quiet camp. "You're too busy drowning yourself to notice when you're standing on top of something important." Jace took another swig, the alcohol burning its way down his throat. "And your problem, Tomaz, is that you think everything buried in this dirt is going to make you famous. Newsflash, it's all just rocks and dust." 5 years ago, Jace had been the rising star of xenorchaeology, the youngest person ever to lead an expedition into Forerunner ruins. Then he'd made a mistake, a single error in translation that had cost the university millions and destroyed his reputation. Now he was relegated to minor digs on backwater planets, cataloging artifacts that no one cared about. "At least I'm not afraid to take risks," Tomaz shot back, walking toward him with that insufferable swagger. "Speaking of which, I dare you to do something interesting for once in your pathetic existence. I'm not in the mood for your games." "Of course you're not. You're never in the mood for anything except feeling sorry for yourself." Tomaz gestured toward the center of the excavation site, where a massive statue stood illuminated by portable lights. "That thing we uncovered today? The preliminary scans show it's at least 10,000 years old, maybe older. But you haven't even looked at it properly." The statue was indeed impressive, standing nearly 4 meters tall. It depicted a female figure with elongated limbs and delicate features, her skin rendered in some kind of crystalline material that seemed to shift colors in the moonlight. Her eyes were closed, her arms crossed over her chest, in what might have been a gesture of peace or mourning. So what? Jace muttered, though something about the statue did intrigue him. There was a quality to it that felt different from other Forerunner artifacts, more lifelike somehow. So I dare you to touch it. To actually make contact with something from the past, instead of just cataloging it from a safe distance. Tomas's smile was cruel. Unless you're too scared that you'll mess this up too. The words hit their mark. Jace had been playing it safe for 5 years, never taking chances, never risking another failure. Part of him knew Tomas was manipulating him, but the larger part, the part drowning in whiskey and self-pity, didn't care. Fine, he said, tossing the bottle aside and stalking toward the statue. I'll touch your precious find. Then you can shut up about it. The camp's floodlights created stark shadows as Jace approached the excavation pit. The statue seemed larger up close, more imposing. Its surface was smooth, but not cold, maintaining an ambient temperature that shouldn't have been possible for stone. His hand hovered inches from the figure's face, trembling slightly. Any day now, Morrigan, Tomas called from behind him. Jace's fingers made contact with the statue's cheek. The material felt warm, almost alive. Then something shifted beneath his palm. A subtle vibration that traveled up his arm. And directly into his mind, the world exploded into sensation. Images flooded his consciousness, vast cities of crystal and light. Beings moving through spaces that defied geometry. Songs that resonated in frequencies humans couldn't hear. And through it all, a presence, singular and profound, reaching out to him across an impossible gulf of time. God, who dares wake me? The voice wasn't heard but felt, resonating in his bones. Jace tried to pull his hand away, but found he couldn't move. The statue's surface began to crack, fine lines spreading from the point of contact. Light leaked through the fissures, not the cold white of the camp's floods, but something warmer, more alive. Tomas, Jace managed to croak. Something's happening. But Tomas wasn't answering. The other archaeologist had backed away, his face pale with shock. Around them, the camp's electronics began to malfunction. Lights flickered, equipment sparked, and alarms wailed into the desert night. The cracks in the statue widened, pieces falling away to reveal flesh underneath. Not human flesh, but something similar skin that shimmered with an inner luminescence, marked with intricate patterns that seemed to flow and change. The figure's eyes opened, revealing irises that contained entire galaxies, swirling with colors Jace had no names for. It was definitely as she drew in a breath, her chest expanding with the first inhalation in millennia. Her gaze fixed on Jace, and in that moment, he felt his mind open in ways he'd never imagined possible. Their consciousnesses touched, intertwined, and suddenly he knew her name. N-I-R-A. She spoke again, this time her lips moving to form words in a language that predated human civilization. Yet somehow, through their connection, Jace understood every syllable. "You have broken the seal," she said, her voice like music from a forgotten dream. "The long sleep ends. My people will know, and they will return." Jace found his voice, though it came out as barely a whisper. "I didn't mean to. Intent matters little now." She stepped down from her pedestal with fluid grace, fragments of her stone prison falling away. "What is done cannot be undone. The signal has been sent across the stars." "What signal? What are you?" Before she could answer, Tomas's panicked voice cut through the night. "Security. We need security here now. The artifact is active, possibly hostile." Neera's head swiveled toward Tomas, her expression unreadable. "Hostile? No, but neither am I prisoner anymore." She looked back at Jace, and something in her alien features softened. "You freed me. Whether you meant to or not, you are now bound to me." I can feel your thoughts, your regrets, your loneliness. The intimacy of her words made Jace's breath catch. That's not possible. You can't just, I have been aware for 10,000 years, locked in stone, feeling every touch of wind and rain, every footstep that passed me by. You think I don't understand loneliness? Her hand reached out, fingers brushing his cheek in a mirror of his earlier gesture. We are connected now. You and I, the kiss that woke me, has tied our fates together. I didn't kiss you. I just touched. In my culture, the touch you gave is more intimate than any kiss. It was soul deep, whether you knew it or not. Shouts erupted from across the camp as security personnel emerged from their quarters, weapons drawn. The site's automated defense systems began to activate, sensors locking on to Nira as a potential threat. We need to run, Jace said urgently. Though he had no idea why he was protecting this stranger, this being from beyond time, Nira smiled. And despite everything, it was beautiful. Yes, but not apart. We run together now, Jace Morrigan. Your choice has made us one. She grabbed his hand, and the world shifted. Reality seemed to bend around them as Nira moved, pulling him into the shadows between the floodlights. They shouldn't have been able to escape so easily. Not with armed guards converging on their position. But somehow they slipped through gaps that hadn't existed moments before. Behind them, Kesher's night sky began to change. New stars appeared where none had been before. Not stars, but ships, descending from the void in response to a signal sent across light years in an instant. Nira's people were coming home, and Jace had been the one to call them.